So, in the very vast and complex world of the runes, there's a fringe subject that almost nobody ever talks about. And it's known as the Rune Kennings and Speech-Rune Kennings. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what the hell is that? Well, Kennings are, in a way, a kind of cryptic cipher, a code, if you will, and in many times used with runes or in sort of a coded way of speech, if you will. Kennings, Rune Kennings, Speech-Rune Kennings, as far as with the runes, let's just go with the bare bones, the basics of like the Futhark. These exist historically in some artifacts, runestones, medieval manuscripts, and they were used for various purposes. Sometimes it was sort of an abbreviated way to tell a story or to include someone's name within the text of a Skaldic poem. Sometimes it was used in the form of a sort of a runic form to literally have a rune master kind of sign his name into a runestone, and even used for, in some aspects of runic magic. Now, Rune Kennings themselves, Speech-Rune Kennings specifically, are so mysterious and so little talked about it that there literally is only one book I know of that has examples of Speech-Rune Kennings, and that's the Sorcerer's Creed, and they are actually in the front of the book, right here. You'll find them right here. It'll show the actual Rune Kenning and the name in Icelandic and then the translation in English. And there are 8 different sets of this in the book. This subject is such a rarity that there are research papers and stuff written about it, specifically one that truly fascinates me, and that was by a professor of English, a linguist, and a translator who is at the University of Zagreb in Croatia, Professor Vlatko Braz, who wrote a very fascinating paper in 2011 called Kennings as Blends and Prisms, basically the prismatic structure of Kennings. And I talk about this in a chapter on my books on the runes. In fact, I believe it's volume 2. Let me show you. So there it is. There's volume 2. And volume 2 itself consists of the subject of bind runes, Icelandic runes, the lesser-known ones, Rune Kennings, and lesser-known runes of Europe. What a beauty that is. But you can also check out all the rest of the books in my series Rúnabók, A Journey Through the Runes, here. Now let's get back to Rune Kennings just for a quick moment, because it's a very complex subject. So complex that it took me quite a while just to write that one chapter in the books, but it's a subject that fascinates me, and I've even created my own Rune Kennings before, which I show in this book, in that volume. So if you try to just Google, like if you're trying to find like a book that discusses Rune Kennings, there's only going to be one that you're going to find besides the Sorcerer's Creed, and that's going to be mine. And I'm not just saying that. You can do your own Google search. But it has such importance when it comes to Skald poetry and a lot of different important scripts and texts found in medieval manuscripts, especially Icelandic ones. And purely, it's just a subject that doesn't get enough attention paid to it. And it's something that I discuss how you yourself could use it in your own runic magic or runic inscriptions or even your own kind of skaldic poetry. So I wish I could tell you more, but the books are still in pre-order, which means I'm kind of limited on what I can say. But if this is something you're interested in, whether you're just interested in the studies of Nordic literature, poems, skaldic poetry, the runes themselves, runic inscriptions, or you want to dive more into this whole concept of the Rune Kenning, the Speech-Rune Kenning, I cover it all in that chapter in my books on the runes. So they're available right now on the Three Little Sisters website. The link is in my bio. So yeah, go check them out. That's it.